Pubco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching the Press Row. I'm here with Barry Trammell, and I'm Jenny Carlson. It's time for our We Pick 'em segment. We have got NBA series and games to pick, and Barry, it's a little bit of revisionist history this week after the first week of the playoffs. Any of these series you want to change? Let's get right to it with one from the East. This Pacers-Hawks series tied up 1-1. They get back at it 6 p.m. on Thursday night. You changing your pick?
No, I'll stay with the Pacers, reluctantly. Pacers beat the Hawks. It has nothing to do with the Pacers. The Hawks are just so bad. I mean, 37-45, very limited, and that's not much of a roster when you look at it. They dominate Indiana in Game 1. They had a 10-point lead, 11-point lead in the second quarter of Game 2, but the Pacers come roaring back. I don't think the Pacers have healed themselves, but they're playing a team that it's almost impossible to lose to. So I'm going to take Indiana.
Boy, that was reluctant, I can tell. Yeah, I'm sticking with Indiana in this one myself. But I tell you what, it's largely because the Hawks are so depleted. I think if the Pacers were playing anybody else, anybody a little bit better, maybe even, put them in with that Wizards team that we'll talk about in a second, or some of these other teams in the East who really aren't that good either, but I think they might actually have a chance to beat the Pacers. We had to go and look at the Hawks roster online the other night to figure out. I knew 2 players off the top of my head, and past that I was a little bit sketchy. So yeah, this is not a Hawks team built to win in the playoffs, so I'm not picking them to win. All right, what about this series, Barry? Talk about the Wizards. Bulls-Wizards. The Wizards up 2-0 after winning both games in Chicago. They get back at it Friday night at 7 in Washington. Who are you going to pick in this one?
Well, I'm switching. I was very confident in the Bulls, but the Wizards have convinced me. You win 2 in Chicago and it's over. So Chicago just can't seem to score at the end of games. Everybody talks about their offensive limitations. They played pretty good offense through 3.5 quarters, but they've fallen off at the end of both games, losing overtime of Game 2. Chicago's just worn out. Jimmy Butler plays 53 minutes against Washington in Game 2. Wizards are playing with confidence. They've got a very solid starting lineup with the great backcourt of Beal and Wall, 2 good big men in Gortat and Nene. Trevor Ariza is a small forward who's very veteran presence. I sort of like their team. They're growing on me. Wizards are going to win this one.
Yeah, I'm switching too. And I actually said that Joakim Noah was going to sort of be a breakout star in these playoffs. And obviously for that to happen, the Bulls were going to have to play a while. I don't think they're playing past the next week or so, frankly. I think the Wizards win this series. I could see them sweeping at this point. I mean, why not? They're going back to Washington. People are going to be fired up like never, well, maybe not never before, but in a long time, Wizards fans haven't been this excited about anything. So I got to think the Wizards win this series in either 4 or 5 games. Our man Darnell Mayberry, big Wizards fan from back in the day, he's got to be ecstatic. I got the Wizards in this one, Barry.
Insufferable is the way to describe Darnell.
All right, one more before we get to that Thunder-Grizzlies series, Barry. Clippers-Warriors, this one tied up 1-1 also as it heads off to Golden State, and that would be Thursday night at 9:30. But who you got winning this series now?
I got the Clippers. I had the Clippers all the way, and here's the deal. The Warriors stole Game 1, but only because Blake Griffin was limited to less than 20 minutes. The Clippers can't guard him. He had 35 points, or more than 35 points, less than 30 minutes, first time in NBA history, Game 2. Warriors, no answer for Blake. Clippers are going to win probably in 5 games.
Yeah, I'll stick with the Clippers. That was my original pick in this one as well. I don't remember how many games I had them winning in, but I think they're still going to handle business. And, officials called it weirdly. Closely. I don't know what the word is, but you got to adjust to that, obviously. If you're a player, Blake Griffin didn't. He plays very limited minutes in Game 1, but clearly when he's out there, he's just a difference maker. He's not ready to step into the KD, LeBron, upper echelon of players in the NBA. But look out, he's starting to make a run at it. He is playing very good basketball. All right, Barry, what about Thunder-Grizzlies? Let's talk about Game 3 first, 7 o'clock Thursday night in the Grindhouse, as they call it in Memphis. Who you got in this one?
I'm going to take the Thunder because I think they generally bounce back well from defeat. I think they get refocused on defense. I think they generally come out ready to play, take care of business. The truth of the Memphis series with the Thunder is virtually every game is close. It comes down to the last minute or two. Even last year, we saw this. Thunder goes to Memphis, lose 2 tough ones in FedEx Forum without Russell Westbrook. I think Russell gets them over the hump in Game 3. I think Thunder pulls out Game 3.
I'm going to go with the Grizzlies, but I think this is going to be a heck of a game, as all of these games are. I just don't see big blowouts happening in this series much. But I think at home, the place is going to be rocking. People are going to be excited. I think that gives the Grizzlies a little extra mojo. I do think the Thunder will adjust and play better than they did the other night. I think you'll see them improve defensively, offensively. I think there's a lot of pride that they will take in this game. But I just think the Grizzlies, being at home, they know what it takes to beat the Thunder. I think they get the job done in Game 3. All right, Barry, what about the series? Any revisionist history here? We both picked the Thunder to win this one. Are they gonna?
I like my pick. Of all my picks in all the series, I think this one's the most rock solid. I said Thunder in 7. I thought it was going to be a grind from the start. I thought it was going to be a marathon from the start. I've seen nothing to change that. I think it is going to be back and forth. I think it will go the max, and Thunder gets the home game in Game 7, so I'll stay with the Thunder.
Yeah, I had the Thunder winning this one to start with, and I'll stay with the Thunder. I did say Thunder in 5. Now I think it's going to go longer than that, just from the fact, again, Beno Udrih. My gosh, the fact that he was able to have a good game against these guys, if that's the case, clearly they've got some things that they need to work on, the Thunder does. I think they're going to get better at handling perimeter defense and those sorts of things, but the Grizzlies are going to challenge them a lot more than I thought they were going to. So Thunder wins, but I think there's going to be some heartburn and some anxious moments for Thunder fans. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.